Shalom, brothers and sisters, and Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. Just getting off of work, winding down, took a shower, and figured I'd go ahead and get into this. This is the book, the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. Each of the sons of Jacob has a testament. I did a video earlier and I briefly talked about it, but the sound quality on that video wasn't too good, so I think I'm gonna try to do my recordings in quiet environments. My vehicle is a little loud, so Salakia for that. Hopefully it didn't take away from the message, but I'm gonna go ahead and start, man. We're gonna start with Uncle Rue, man, or Papa Rue. We're gonna start with Reuben, okay? And I've read Reuben, Simeon, and I'm in Levi, and man, Akim, it's such a blessing, man. And like I said, this is called the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs, and hopefully this will be an edifying message for you. Okay, let me just get to it. Try to skip the introductions. The introduction talks about the history of it, how they came across it. This is in libraries, federal libraries, man. This is a derivative of an official document that they translated. You understand? But let's and as we know, the nation of Edom had ransacked our kingdom, had ransacked Jerusalem in 70 A.D. Led by Titus. And they ransacked our synagogues and got all of our scriptures, But due to the grace of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, we're getting our stuff back, man, and we're coming back into our identity. So I'm gonna start with Reuben, okay? And hopefully this will be a blessing for you. He talks about some serious things, okay? All right. The Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs. The Testament of Reuben, the firstborn son of Jacob and Leah. Introduction. Reuben's confession and repentance. Okay. The copy of the Testament of Reuben, even the commands which he gave his sons before he died in the 125th year of his life, 2 years after the death of Joseph, his brother. When Reuben fell ill, his sons and his sons' sons were gathered together to visit him. And he said to them, "My children, behold, I am dying, and go to the way of my fathers." And seeing there Judah and Gad and Asher, his brethren, he said to them, "Raise me up, that I may tell to my brethren and to my children what things I have hidden in my heart. For behold, now at length I am passing away." And he arose and kissed them, and said unto them, "Hear, my brethren, and do ye, my children, give ear to Reuben your father, in the commands which I give you. And behold, I call to witness against you this day the God of heaven, that you walk not in the ignorance of youth and fornication, wherein I was poured out, the defiled Salakia, and defiled the bed of my father Jacob." I'm gonna pause. We know that Reuben defiled the bed of his father Jacob, man. He slept with one of his father's wives. When Jacob went to go see Isaac, Reuben slept with one of Jacob's wives, man. And he talks about that. And I'm gonna continue, and towards the end, we're just gonna kind of go over some things to consider, man. But I'm gonna continue. Verse 7. "And I tell you that he smote me with a sore plague in my loins for 7 months. And had not my father Jacob prayed for me to the Lord would have destroyed me. For I was 30 years old when I wrought this evil thing before the Lord. And for 7 months I was sick unto death. And after this I repented with set purpose of my soul for 7 years before the Lord. And wine and strong drink I drank not, and flesh entered not into my mouth, and I ate no pleasant food, But I mourned over my sin, for it was great. Such has not been in Israel. Okay? Let's continue. The 7 spirits of deceit. And now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 spirits of deceit, when I repented. 7 spirits, therefore, are appointed against man, and they are the leaders in the works of the youth. And 7 other spirits are given to him at his creation, that through them should be done every work of man. The first is the spirit of life, with which the constitution of man is created. The second is the sense of sight, with which arises desire. The third is the sense of hearing, with which cometh teaching. The fourth is the sense of smell, with which tastes are given to draw air and breath. The fifth is the power of speech, with which cometh knowledge. The sixth is the sense of taste, with which cometh the eating of meats and drinks, and by its strength is produced. For in food is the foundation of strength. The seventh is the power of procreation and sexual intercourse, with which, through love of pleasure, sins enter in. Wherefore, it is the last in order of creation, and the first in that of youth, because it is filled with ignorance, and leadeth the youth as a blind man to a pit, and as a beast to a precipice. Besides all these, there is an 8th spirit of sleep, with which is brought about the trance of nature in the image of death. With these spirits are mingled the spirits of error. First, the spirit of fornication is seated in the nature and in the senses. The second, the spirit of insatiableness in the belly. The third, the spirit of fighting in the liver and gall. The fourth is the spirit of obscene. I can't pronounce it, dog. I'm gonna put it right here. Right. I don't know why is this joint changing colors, man? It's crazy. It's wild. Oh, that's the spirit right there. The spirit of obsequiousness and chicanery. Okay, I'm gonna reread that. The fourth is the spirit of obsequious. I don't know what that says, man. It's chicanery. That through officious attention one may be fair and seemly. The fifth is the spirit of pride, that one may be boastful and arrogant. The sixth is the spirit of lying, in perdition, and in jealousy to practice deceits and concealments from kindred and friends. The seventh is the spirit of injustice, with which are thefts and acts of rapacity, that a man may fulfill the desire of his heart. For injustice worketh together with the other spirits by the taking of gifts. And with all these the spirit of sleep is joined, which is that of error and fantasy. And so perisheth every young man, darkening his mind from the truth, and not understanding the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, nor obeying the admonishments of his fathers, as befell me also in my youth. It's very important to get in this in the youth, man. You know, to raise your sons in the way of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. And Reuben is talking about this thing, man. Now let's continue. We're going to talk about Reuben's sin, chapter 3, okay? Reuben's sin. We're going to get right into what he did. And now, my children, love the truth, and it will preserve you. Hear ye the words of Reuben, your father. Pay no heed to the face of a woman, nor associate with another man's wife, nor meddle with affairs of womankind. For had I not seen Bilhah bathing in a covered place, I had not fallen into this great iniquity. For my mind, taking in the thought of the woman's nakedness, suffered me not to sleep until I had wrought the abominable thing. For while Jacob our father had gone to Isaac his father, when we were in Edar, near the Ephrath in Bethlehem, Bilhah became drunk and was asleep, uncovered in her chamber. Having therefore gone in and beheld her nakedness, I brought the impiety without her perceiving it, and leaving her sleeping, I departed. And forthwith an angel of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai revealed to my father concerning the impiety, and he came and mourned over me, and touched her no more. So Reuben, when Jacob went to go visit Isaac, Reuben was eyeballing Bilhah, okay? Basically, his mother-in-law, one of Jacob's wives. Jacob had 4 wives. Reuben was the son of Leah. So Reuben went and slept with Leah's sister wife, which was Jacob's other wife, Bilhah, okay? He was watching her. He was watching her from afar off bathing, and she had got drunk and went to sleep and passed out. He went in there and had sex with her while she was out of it, you know. And the angel of the Lord went to Jacob and told him what Reuben did. You understand? And Jacob was very upset about it. Okay. Now let's go to what Reuben said about a warning against sin. Pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of a woman, nor set your mind on their affairs, but walk in singleness of heart in the fear of the Lord, and expend labor on good works, and on study and on your flocks, until the Lord give you a wife, whom he will, that ye suffer not as I did. For until my father's death I had not boldness to look into his face, or to speak to any of my brethren, because of the reproach. So all his brothers was beefing with him. Reuben couldn't even look in Jacob's eyes, man. He couldn't look at his father in the face, man. You know? Let's continue. Even until now, my conscience causes me anguish on account of my impiety, and yet my father comforted me much, and prayed for me unto the Lord, that the anger of the Lord might pass from me, even as the Lord showed. And thenceforth until now I have been on my guard, and sinned not. Therefore, my children, I say unto you, observe all things whatsoever I command you, and ye shall not sin. For a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication, separating it from Yahweh, and bringing it near to idols, because it deceiveth the mind and understanding, and leadeth down young men into Hades before their time. For many hath fornication destroyed, because though a man be old or noble, or rich or poor, or bringeth reproach upon himself with the sons of men in derision, with Beliar. Okay, and Beliar is Hashatan. Okay, you know, I looked that up because a lot of the patriarchs, our forefathers, was using this term Beliar, Beliar. It's basically Hashatan, man. But let's continue. For hear ye regarding Joseph, how he guarded himself from a woman, and purged his thoughts from all fornication, and found favor in the sight of God and men. For the Egyptian woman did many things unto him, and summoned magicians, and offered him love potions. But the purpose of his soul emitted no evil desire. Therefore the God of your fathers delivered him from every evil and hidden death. For if fornication overcomes not your mind, neither can Beliar overcome you. So if fornication overcomes not your mind, neither can Hashatan overcome you, man. How did man fall in the first place? Through the woman. You understand? And Reuben's going to get more into that, man. You know, about women in general, man. We going right to it. It's right here. It's right here. For evil are women, my children, and since they have no power or strength over man, they use wiles by outward attractions, that they may draw him to themselves, and whom they cannot bewitch by outward attractions, him they overcome by craft. For moreover concerning them, the angel of the Lord told me and taught me that women are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men, and in their heart they plot against men. And by means of their adornment, they deceive first their minds, and by the glance of the eye, instill the poison. And then through the accomplished act, they take them captive. For a woman cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing she beguiles him. Flee, therefore, fornication, my children, and command your wives and your daughters that they adorn not their heads and faces to deceive the mind. Because every woman who uses these wiles hath been reserved for eternal punishment. For thus they allured the watchers who were before the flood. For as these continuously beheld them, they lusted after them, and they conceived the act in their mind. For they changed themselves into the shape of men, and appeared to them when they were with their husbands. And the woman lusting in their minds after their forms gave birth to giants. For the watchers appeared to them as reaching even unto heaven. Woo, that's deep, man. That's a deep cut. You know, and now you're starting to see why they took these books out the Bible, man. You see it. It's too much information. They can't control the narrative, man. There's too much information. This whole page, man, just went in on the nature of women. We already know this. It's telling these women not to beautify themselves and wear makeup. If you have to read the whole scroll, man. Whatever Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah leads you into, because if you read the book of Enoch, all of this makes sense. Because that fallen angels, the watchers, taught women how to paint their faces. They taught women how to have abortions. They taught women how to use enchantments. Taught men how to make swords. All that came from the angels, the left-hand angels. You understand? Now we got some brothers that don't want to believe in this. And look, to each his own. I believe in it because it makes sense, and it's all over Scripture. It's in the Bible, and it's in the removed books. It all goes together. Okay? And when you remove a portion of this truth, it taints the whole message. It's something. It puts holes in it. You know, this gives a full understanding, man, of why women should not adorn themselves, man. You know, in his makeup and jewelry and all that stuff, man. He just broke it down from the beginning of how everything went left from that. And the woman who practiced that. And let this be a lesson to any Awathium who may be listening, man. Be humble, be meek, be simple. Because if you're all into this vanity, and that's all we see, there's not a lot of women who won't wear makeup, man. You know? They're reserved to everlasting punishment. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai don't get down like that concerning a woman. He wants our woman meek, humble, natural. You know? Now let's continue, okay? And like I said, tonight's gonna be Reuben, and I'm gonna get to Simeon hopefully tomorrow. Adawan Rasazah. You know? But let's continue. Oh, and just to touch back on what it was said, it says, and the woman lusting in their minds after their forms, because the watchers, you know, angels can change forms. You know? That's why it says in the scriptures, man, I can't even think of where it is. Man, it's been a long day. It's going on midnight, and I've been up since 3:30 yesterday morning. I'm just getting off a long day of work. But basically, you gotta be careful who you talk to, because you might be entertaining angels unaware. Because angels can take the form of men. You know, they can take the form of animals. You know, you never know, man. They're interdimensional beings, man. They're supreme beings. You know, and they was changing themselves to men, and these women began committing adultery with the watchers, man. You know, with the fallen. That just shows you the whole hypergamy of a woman. And the reason why they was lusting after these angels was because the angels could transmutate, could do things that man can't do. You know, at least in that time, you know. And it says it right here. And the woman lusting in their minds after their forms gave birth to giants, for the watchers appeared to them as reaching even unto heaven. Okay? Now let's continue. Beware, therefore, of fornication, and if you wish to be pure in mind, guard your senses from every woman, and command the woman likewise not to associate with men, that they also may be pure in mind. For constant meetings, even though the ungodly deed be not wrought, are to them an irremediable disease, and to us a destruction of Beliar and an eternal reproach. So what Reuben is saying is like, don't be constantly meeting up, sitting out in the presence of women, man. Because nature is going to take its role, man. She's going to wind up committing adultery on her husband. That's why you don't sit with a woman who's married or attached to another man, aka having sex with another man. That's why we talk about adultery of the heart. You ain't supposed to look upon these women like that, man. Paul said it'd be better if you don't even touch a woman, man. But it's also written that the beauty of a woman lifted the countenance of a man. That's the man's weakness, is the woman. The first man fell. Adam fell because of his woman. Eve was probably super bad. Just keeping it real. The first woman Yahweh Shai created, man, she's probably tough, man. And Adam left her. We can't love these women more than the commands of Yahweh Shai, man. And this is a discipline we need to work on every day. And me myself too. You know what I like to do? I like to ignore them. I like to ignore these women and act like I don't see them. I see them, but I act like I don't. And I focus on pretending they're invisible out here, man. Because you don't want to walk around burning in lust, man. Because what will happen? You get to burning in lust, and then what you want to do when you get off of work? You want to go to the strip club, or you want to put in some pornography, or you want to go home and masturbate. It all starts in your mind. You dig what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying, Akim? That's where it all starts, man. So that's why Reuben is going to the root with this, man. He's telling a woman how to not to associate with the men. That they also may be pure in mind. For constant meetings, even though the ungodly deed be not wrought, even though you ain't smashing her yet, are to them an irremediable disease, and to us a destruction of Beliar, Hashaitan, and the eternal reproach. For in fornication there is neither understanding nor godliness, and all jealousy dwelleth in the lust thereof. Okay? Alright, man. Now I'm going to continue. And I can go on. I can make a whole nother video just based off the last, 2 paragraphs I read, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's very real, man. And we got to understand that basically all the sons, Salakia, all the patriarchs gave an exhortation and a lesson to their children based off an iniquity or wisdom that they learned in their life. And when it came to Reuben, his iniquity was sexual immorality. He fornicated. If it was to the letter of the law, really Jacob should have. Well, these are the patriarchs. So Israel didn't really manifest yet. This is before Egypt. This is literally Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and his 12 sons. And these are the words of his 12 sons. So the law wasn't written yet, but the law, I don't know if you can receive this, but the law always has been and always will be, so it already existed. Otherwise, how did Enoch please Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai? How did Abraham please Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai? What is sin? Sin is transgression of the law. And how did Reuben know that he sinned? Lest he knew there were laws. But this is before Moshe. This is before Moses. You see what I'm saying? So it's spiritual. The law is spiritual. You know what I'm saying? We can receive that. But this was Reuben's issue, man. If it was to the letter of the law, man, he should have been put to death. Jacob should have killed his son and Bilhah. You know what I'm saying? He should have. My wife was like, Jacob never had sex with Bilhah again after that. He never laid with her again. My wife was like, it's not her fault that he raped her. Why? But it's on a deep. You got to be a man to understand it. You woman, you're only supposed to have one rod. And that's your husband for the rest of your life, man. This sexual liberty, the Statue of Liberty spirit, this feminist spirit, this Gad in the Bra spirit is going off, man. And you have forgiveness. The blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach can cover you, but you got to repent. You got to change, man. You women don't got that. You don't have that sexual liberty, man. And really, a man does, but he can't even. A man not even supposed to really go off and just be running through women. If a man puts his rod inside of a woman, even if it's a concubine, she belongeth unto him. He had to take some responsibilities over her. So a man could be a whoremonger. So, and a lot of Akim, they go off too. I used to be one of them. So it's not in judgment, but, it's in righteous judgment, though, on the same note as it's written. You know what I mean? But let's continue, man. And I'm gonna end it. It's only we're right here with it. It's only on the next page, and this is where it ends. So I'm just gonna read this part, okay? Okay, this is chapter 6. An extortion to obey Levi, in whom is vested a royal priesthood. Okay, this is what Reuben's telling his children in closure, okay? Therefore then I say unto you, ye will be jealous against the sons of Levi, and will seek to be exalted over them, but ye shall not be able. For God will avenge them, and ye shall die by an evil death. For to Levi God gave the sovereignty, and to Judah with him, to me also, and to Dan and Joseph, that we should be for rulers. Therefore I command you to hearken to Levi, because he shall know the law of the Lord, and shall give ordinances for judgment, and shall sacrifice for all Israel until the consummation of the times, as the anointed high priest, of whom the Lord spake. I adjure you by the God of heaven to do truth, each one unto his neighbor, and to entertain love, each for his brother, and draw ye near to Levi in humbleness of heart, that ye may receive a blessing from his mouth. For he shall bless Israel and Judah, because him hath the Lord chosen to be king over all the nation, and bow down before his seed. For on our behalf it will die in wars visible and invisible, and will be among you an eternal king. Okay, this is Reuben's death and burial. And Reuben died, having given these commands to his sons. And they placed him in a coffin until they carried him up from Egypt, and buried him in Hebron, in the cave where his father was. Okay, and the next one is going to be the testament of Simeon, the second son of Jacob and Leah. And I'm gonna do that another day. But what I want to close out with is and this is also something that Simeon was saying, is how to honor Levi. You understand? And now keep in mind, these are the patriarchs, so the nation didn't necessarily grow just yet to the numbers that we actually grew to in the land of Egypt, even to this day. But if you look at what Reuben is telling his sons, and you'll see tomorrow, or hopefully, I don't want to write this out by tomorrow. I have the Simeon one done. Moses was a Levite. Aaron was a Levite. The law came through the Levites. The Levites were the only tribe that didn't have their own land, although they dwelled with Judah, part of the southern tribe, but they really were scattered. They were the priesthood for all of Israel. And for that consummation of time was really until Yahushua HaMashiach came and died, because the veil was torn to where you don't need a Levite to intercede for you anymore. But up until that time, Levi ruled. Of course, Levi ruled as the priesthood. Judah is of kingship, and Simeon goes into that, because at first I read it like, I thought Judah was the head tribe. At this period of time, Reuben was prophesying. He was prophesying that Levi would run things, man, and they was. Moses was running things. How do we get the Torah? Through Moses, through the Levites. We have the laws through Levi to this day. We have the Torah through Levi, through the lineage of Levi, which is Moses and Aaron. Really, Moshe. You understand? Moses sat on the mount with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, face to face, man, and received the laws. You understand? So Reuben prophesied this essentially. This is for the Reubenite brothers. The Native American Indian brothers, so-called Native American Indians. For me, that's Uncle Root. You understand? The wisdom of Uncle Root, But I'm going to get into Simeon tomorrow. And hopefully this was edifying for you, man. And I've been reading so far, man. It's like every son, every patriarch I came across. I've read Judah. I didn't read it in this particular book, but I've read Judah's. That's going to be a good one, because the same issues and the things that Judah talked about is what's wrong with us today. But I'm going to get to that. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to go through each of these patriarchs, man. And like I said, I'm still working on some other post-production. But you know, you got to follow where the Spirit moves. The Spirit's moving me to go through this with y'all. For whatever reason, man. For whatever edifying reason, man. But hopefully it's a blessing unto you and edifying. And hopefully you enjoyed it, man. I know I did. You know, reading it, you know. But all praises to Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. And definitely give my salutations to the elders and apostles who woke us up into who we are, you know, in Yasharala. And all the brothers also laboring in this truth on down, man. We all one body. You know, let's stand boldly in our lots in these last days and times. And, you know, let's continue to keep our hands on the plow and edify one another that we may become a stronger body until the day that the elect are sealed, that we can take our ministry in our power, man. For the people who will be willing in the day of our power. But for right now, let's extort knowledge and wisdom under Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. And I definitely keep you brothers in prayer. And I do pray for the elect, man, you know. And I pray for some brothers particularly. You know, let's keep that. Look, it's brotherly love, man. You know, but I ain't gonna wrap up too much. It's going on after midnight. My alarm is gonna go off in 4 hours, and we back on the grind. So until next time, Shalom.